Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on the Metaphysical Library. My name is Awhona, and in today's video, I'm going to share my tentative TBR for the Middle Grade March 2022 Readathon. Now, the Middle Grade March Readathon is a month-long readathon which will be happening during March, and we read only middle grade books. And this year, it has been hosted by Katie from Life Between the Worlds, Krista from BooksAndJams, and Amanda from the Curly Reader. So this is going to be my tentative TBR, which I'm about to share with you. So do please join me further in this video. So now let's come down to the books that I plan on reading for this particular readathon. So the first book is the group read, which is Pony by R.J. Palacio. I hope I got that surname correct, and I do apologize if I mispronounced it. Now, this is the group read, and I do have it on audiobook, so I will be listening to it in the audio format. Now, I do have the information which is written at the back of the book in front of me, so I will be reading it out from here. This particular story is about a boy who has the ability to see ghosts, or he has the second sight. So from the back it reads as: a story about a boy on a quest to rescue his father with only a ghost as his companion and a mysterious pony as his guide. When Scylla's bird wakes in the dead of the night, he watches powerlessly as three strangers take his father away. Scylla is left shaken, scared and alone, except for the presence of his companion Mittenwool, who happens to be a ghost. But then a mysterious pony shows up at his door, and Silas knows what he has to do. So begins a perilous journey to find his father, a journey that will connect him with his past, his future, and the unknowable world around him. So that's the first book on my TBR. Now, let's come down to the prompt. So the first prompt is to read a middle grade book which has more than 5 or more words in its title. So for this, I have picked up Sudhamurty's The Daughter from a Wishing Tree. I really love the cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. And from the back of the book, it reads as: did you know that the Trinity often turned to goddesses to defeat the Asuras? Did you know that the first clone in the world was created by a woman? The women in Indian mythology might be fewer in number, but their stories of strength and mystery in the pages of ancient texts and epics are many. They slayed demons and protected the devotees fiercely, from Parvati to Ashoka Sundari, and from Bhamati to Mandodari. This collection features enchanting and fearless women who frequently led wars on behalf of the gods, were the backbone of the families and makers of their own destinies. It is much loved and best-selling author Sudhamurty takes you on an empowering journey through the yarns forgotten in time, abounding with remarkable women who will remind you of the strong female influences in your life. So this is a book that I've been looking forward to read. It's definitely middle grade, and that's the first book that I'll be reading. So now let's come down to the second prompt, which is to read a book featuring an orphan. So for this, I have chosen to read A Single Shard by Lindasuepark, and I am coupling this book up with another readathon that I am participating in which we read Korean books. So obviously it's Readathon. From the back of the book, it reads as 13-year-old Triya lives in a Korean village famous for its ceramics. He doesn't have much, but he loves to watch Master Porter Min at work and dreams of learning the craft one day. Reluctantly, Min agrees to let Triya help him. Determined to do whatever it takes to prove himself, Triya embarks on a dangerous journey to present his master's work to the king, unaware that it will change his life forever. So this is actually got the Newbery Award as well, and this will be the next book that I read for this particular prompt. So the third prompt is to read a book or read a contemporary middle grade book. Now I do have a book which is a contemporary, of course, but it is somewhere set in 1947 and during the Indian independence movement. So this is Veerahiranandani's The Night Diary. And from the back of the book, it reads as 12-year-old Nisha doesn't recognize her country anymore. It's 1947 and India, newly freed from the British rule, has been divided into two countries, Pakistan and India. Hundreds of thousands are killed crossing borders as the tensions between Muslims and Hindus flare. When Papa, who is Hindu, decides it's too dangerous to stay in Pakistan, Nisha and her family become refugees and embark on a journey by train and by foot to reach their new home. The trek is long, difficult and dangerous, and after losing her Muslim mother as a baby, Nisha can't imagine losing her homeland too. But even if her country has been ripped apart, Nisha still believes in the possibility of putting herself back together. Told through Nisha's letters to her mother, The Night Diary is a heartfelt story of one girl's search for home, for her own identity and a hopeful future. So that will be the next book that I read for this readathon. Our next prompt is to read a book which is set in Asia or featuring an Asian main character. So most of the books that I have selected for my previous prompts are from Asia. However, for this particular prompt, I am including Shayantini Dasgupta's The Secret Kingdom. I just hope you can see it because my ring light is shining on it and I do really apologize for it. I absolutely love the cover. So from the jacket of this book, it reads as, Meet Kiranmala, interdimensional demon slayer. On the morning of her 12th birthday, Kiranmala is just a regular 6th grader living in Parsippany, New Jersey, until her parents mysteriously vanish and a drooling Rakhosh demon slams through her kitchen, determined to eat her alive. Rakhosh demon is actually a demonic force, as the term suggests, and Rakhosh means he's somebody who devours human flesh and drinks human blood. So coming back to the storyline, it turns out that there might be some truth to her parents' fantastical stories, like how Kiranmala is a real Indian princess and how she comes from a secret place not of this world. To complicate matters, two crush-worthy princes ring her doorbell, insisting they have come here to rescue her. Suddenly, Kiran is swept into another dimension full of magic, winged horses, moving maps, and annoying talking birds. There, she must resolve riddles and battle demons, all the while avoiding the Serpent King of the underworld, who may or may not want to kill her, and the Rakhoshi Queen, who definitely does. In order to find her parents and basically save New Jersey, her entire world, and everything beyond it. So I have been meaning to get to this book, but I never really had the opportunity, so why not now? So that will be my next pick for this readathon. So now let's come down to the last prompt, which is to read a book which is older than you. So I had to select a middle grade book which was published before the 1980s. So for this I chose to select enidblyton's The Naughtiest Girl in School, which was published in 1940s. And honestly speaking, I'll be reading the first 4 books which were originally written by enidblyton and published during the 1940s. So that's the entire bunch. And honestly speaking, I've already started with this one because I'm reading this for another readathon, but I will be backing it up with the rest of the series for Middle Grade March, and I'll be including this as well. So from the back of the book, it reads as, Elizabeth Allen is spoiled and selfish. When she's sent away to boarding school, she makes up her mind to be the naughtiest pupil there's ever been. But Elizabeth soon finds out that being bad isn't as simple as it seems in Wycliffe School. So that's the first book in the series, which is The Naughtiest Girl at School. And the second in the series is The Naughtiest Girl is a Monitor. So that's the second book. And from the back it reads as, when Elizabeth Allen is chosen to be a school monitor, she's delighted. But she soon finds out just what a responsible job it is. The harder she tries, the worse she behaves. Will the naughtiest girl in school ever learn to be good? So that's the second book in the series. And the third book is The Naughtiest Girl Again. And from the back it reads as, the naughtiest girl is back, and this term she's trying to be good, but someone wants to spoil things for her, and they're not going to let her forget how she got her nickname. So that's the third in the series, I believe. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is the second in the series, and this is the third in the series. So I'm so sorry about that. And the fourth in the series is very short, and it's The Naughtiest Girl. Here's The Naughtiest Girl. And from the back it reads as, there's a new boy in Elizabeth's class. He's sulky and grumpy, and he'll do anything to show Elizabeth up. She means to keep her temper, but it's not so easy for someone who was once the naughtiest girl in the school, and now she's a monitor and she has much more to lose. So that will be the series that I will be finishing off for this particular prompt. Now, I do have a bunch of graphic novels and comics which are for middle grade, which I will also be reading, and I do apologize for the aircraft sound which you probably will be hearing. There's an aircraft going right over. I stay not too far away from the airport, so we do have flights and buzzing from morning to evening, so I'm really sorry about that. But I do have a bunch of graphic novels and comics which I plan on reading for middle grade March, and these are all for middle grade students. And the first of this is called The Very Extremely Most Naughty Asura Tales for Kids by Anand Neelkanthan. And as you can see, it has a gorgeous cover. In fact, even the back is illustrated very well. And from the jacket, it reads as, aren't we chubby, aren't we cute, aren't we lovely as sweet as fruit? Give us a bear hug, give us a kiss, regret not later for giving it a miss. Don't go by these sweet words for all the little Asura kids. Asura are demons. Asura kids are naughty and troublesome and always up to something. Little will you know when you land in a muddy puddle or your long hair gets chopped off into a bob. They will prod, pull, and tug you, till you yell, just like the gods in the heavens, especially Vishnu and Shiva, who are simply fed up. Indulge in some very extremely most funny, naughty tales of the Asura twins, or the demon twins, Kundaka and Mandaka, who hate going to school, the clumsy Bhasma and his pet pig Nakura, who creates trouble in the village, the two brothers Atapi and Vatapi, who like to eat 96 cartfuls of fruits as desserts, the great Bana, who claps with his 1,000 hands, and so many more. So I have been planning to read this for quite some time. In fact, I did try to include them in some of my TBRs for the previous readathons, but unfortunately I couldn't really get to it, so I hope I'll be able to read it once I'm in the March mood for reading for middle grade. Now the next graphic novels that I have are by Zhu Ru, and these are, this is a sequel, and they are called Newsprint and Endgames. There is a third to this, a third part 3 to this as well, but unfortunately I don't have it at the moment. But from the back of the first in the series, it reads as a gorgeous, provocative debut graphic novel about the power of friendship and finding the courage to be one's true self. Blue is an orphan who disguises herself as a newsboy. There's a war going on and girls are expected to help the struggling economy by selling cookies. But Blue loves living and working at the Bugle, the only paper in town that tells the truth, and what's printed in the newspaper now matters more than ever. But Blue struggles with the secret and worries that if her friends and adopted family at Bugle find out that she's a girl, she'll lose everything and everyone she cares about. And when she meets and befriends Crow, a boy who is also not what he seems, together they seek the freedom to be their true selves and to save each other from the effects of war. So that's the first in the series. And the second in the series is called Endgames, written by Ru Zhu. And from the back it reads as, the fight for freedom and truth continues in Ru Zhu's thrilling sequel to Newsprints. Blue arrives at the capital city of Altalus, where she is determined to find her friend Crow, the boy who created to be a flying war machine, and the boy who was created to be a flying war machine, and Jack, the engineer who built him. But soon she is inadvertently kidnapped by Snow and Red, twins from the enemy side of the 10-year war. They set off on a dangerous adventure that brings them to the front lines of the war and eventually realize that they must work together to help end it. But with larger, more powerful forces at work, the fight for peace and survival will be more difficult than ever imagined. So those are the two books or the graphic novels that I'll also be including in my TBR. Now the last book that I have chosen to read for this particular readathon is more of a comic book than it is a graphic novel, and this is Saptarishis, the Seven Supreme Sages, which has been published by Amarchitrakatha. Now Amarchitrakatha is an Indian publishing house which focuses on publishing stories from Indian mythology, especially the epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, the Puranas, etc. And they usually aim for middle grade students. So this is aimed for the middle grade students, and from the back of the book, it reads as, in Indian mythology, the concept of time is measured in a manavantara. Each manavantara is allotted 7 exceptional sages by Lord Brahma, who represent supreme knowledge and righteousness. Amarchitrakatha has captured stories from inspiring and remarkable lives of 7 sages chosen to represent the current manavantara. Atri, the first of the Saptarishis, is a mind-born son of Lord Brahma. So enduring was his life and presence that he played a role in the events of the Ramayana as well as the Mahabharata. Vasishta was the voice of wisdom and honesty during the time he spent advising the kings of the solar dynasty. The mutual respect he shared with his admirable wife Arundhati was reflected in their exemplary marriage. Tasked by Lord Brahma to populate the earth, Kashyapa is considered the father of all living beings. The origin of all creatures can be traced back to Kashyapa and his wives. The proud king Kaushika's troubled relationship with sage Vasishtha gave rise to his transformation into the accomplished sage Vishwamitra. Gautama and his wife Ahalya overcame the mistrust and insults of the people of Brahmagiri and brought Ganga to the parched land. Jamadagini, who was a proficient student of the Vedas, was chosen by Vishnu to be his father during his avatar as Parshurama. Bharadwaja's thirst of knowledge was so great that he prayed to Lord Indra for a long life so that he had enough time to learn. With Lord Indra's blessings, he spread the knowledge he gained around the world. So there's a lot which is given in this, and it's actually quite educational. So I'm quite looking forward to getting to this. So those are the few books that I plan on reading for this particular readathon. Do let me know if you have read any of these books before, or if you found any of them interesting and would also like to read them along with me. And if possible, then we probably could do a buddy read. And with that, we'll come to the end of this video, and I'll be wrapping it up from here. And I will see you soon again next week with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.